So the three riots of Louisville, there are three of them. There was the Know Nothing riots, the Bloody Monday riots of 1855. There was the 1968 riots, and then there was the 1975 riots. Why Louisville didn't riot when Louisville won the championship, or why Louisville didn't riot after all the young black men that were getting gunned down in the early 2000s, I'll have no idea. They didn't do it. I would guess, actually, to be honest with you, that race relations in Louisville is one of the shittiest in the entire country, and the way that the police handle race relations there is either they put martial law down on everybody. They closed the whole fucking town down. That's what they did with the Louisville championships. The whole fucking town was shut down. They do that, or either I don't know what else they'll do. It's just shitty fucking race relations. It's mixed. It's a mixture of fucking bullshit. You got police that's gonna do criminal activity, but you got the criminals. So which fucking gang do you want to come into your fucking neighborhood to, kind of help out? And so I hear people saying both. Get rid of the police and we need more police. Well, which one is it? You need more good guys and less bad guys, essentially. That's why I think raising people up from their own ranks and teaching them, teaching folks to police themselves would be the best thing. We should police our own shit. Why do we need anybody? Why do we outsource policing to anybody? So that's and especially since it's bullshit, right? Here's some things with the police on Cop Block. This is just the latest shit that they posted. Here they're talking about Tanisha as a black woman that got shot, right? She had no weapon. She was just murdered. She was knocking on somebody's door for some reason. The white owner just shot her. Oh my God, it's a black woman. Let's just shoot her. A nice gesture of apology by one cop is probably the closest thing Rumen Bum's family will receive. And is that even good enough? Here's a fucking guy. Hey, I'm a good guy. Don't hate me, he says in riot fucking gear. I apologize. What the fuck do you apologize for? You're sorry that the shit happened, but you didn't fucking do it. So the person who did it needs to apologize, and then you got a fucking lawsuit. The march and rally for the Felix man killed by police. They didn't give a shit. It doesn't bring anybody back. Yeah, it's a good fucking gesture, but instead of gesture, let's change the fucking system. You know, Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy stomps a man's head into the pavement. Why are these angry people chose by counties and police to protect and serve? They just stomp this fucking man. I saw this one cop throw a 17-year-old or 15-year-old kid into the pavement just for the fuck of it. He's half the size. He's half the size of the cop, and the cop throws his fucking little body, against the fucking sidewalk. Appreciation Week, May 11th to the 17th is National Police Appreciation Week. So remember to treat a cop like he would treat you. The Fox News is getting all freaked out because somebody punched a cop right in the face. And they're like, that's assault and that's wrong. Oh, that shit's wrong. But assault, that poor big black man, Eric Garner, and that's okay. That's okay. You can assault him, put your hands on him, choke him until he dies. And then when they say, hey, that's resisting arrest, it's like, well, he didn't feel like he was doing any goddamn thing. So the only fucking crime he was breaking was, I didn't commit a crime, so therefore I'm not going to be arrested by you. That's not a fucking crime. Just because a cop puts their hands on you doesn't mean that you're fucked. It shouldn't mean that. Oh, he's got his hands on me. I guess he's going to fucking rape me, molest me, do whatever the fuck he wants to do with me. No, he can't assault you. That's assault and battery, and it's the same fucking bullshit. I saw a guy get his fucking window broken into because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. They broke his fucking window. All right, get out. We're going to fucking take you. Why did you do all that? That was unnecessary for not wearing a seatbelt. The police are absolutely out of control. They're not held to account to anybody. They're the politicians' thugs, but a lot of times they seem like mercenary groups, and the tail wags the dog, right? The cop fucking kills Eric Garner, so now the prosecutor and the grand jury has to cover the cop's ass. Is that what they were put there for? Evidently, it's what it looks like. The system is covering up their own fucking Nazi stormtroopers, and they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about anybody. They don't give a shit about black, white, old, young. Everybody is getting attacked. Just open up if you're in Louisville, Kentucky, since that's what this is about, just open up crime times. You see a whole swath of people just being victimized all the fucking time. There's a major police occupation, a police problem. You had Robert White, who was a progressive black man who was a sheriff or was the chief of police in Louisville, and then he got sent back. He went ahead and said, get the fuck out of here, and went to Denver, Colorado, where marijuana is legalized. So he got the fuck out. And meanwhile, we're stuck with this racist piece of shit, Stephen Conrad. He started a Viper Squad, which was Johann Stimley, who had shot a black man. He started a fucking Viper Squad with the man that had killed, assassinated a young unarmed black man. He killed a man, and then he got in charge of special teams, like the SHIELD. They get to go around breaking all the fucking laws that they want to break in order to get the so-called fucking bad guys. This is a racist organization. They were focused mainly on the in the West End, and they're focused on illegal gun sales. That's all they're fucking looking for, illegal gun sales. So you got the entire nation sitting there talking about the 7th Amendment. They've been doing a gun grab in Louisville for quite some time. So the police fucking suck in Louisville. There's horrible race relations, and I'd say on both sides. You know, just people. Just when you have segregated neighborhoods, it's almost like they talk about Jews. Like when Borat was talking about Jewish people, it's almost like Borat never seen a Jewish person before. He thought they had horns and they could, you know, have magical powers and do all this other crazy shit. So it's like if you're ignorant of a different culture, you'll just assume, you know, they're one sort of way. And if you're a racist and you're talking, you know, racist bullshit your whole fucking life, that can be pretty startling, right? Wait, what the fuck? This makes no sense. There's a white man in the West End. What are you doing over here, white man? I live here. That's what I'm doing. Is that okay? I don't know. Don't you need to be over there with your own kind, boy? That's, are you asking me? You ain't from around here, are you? You know what you're asking me? So there is race problems, substantial, significant race problems, and the police problems are worse than in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, there was a riot in 2001, and I was looking at Louisville. Louisville looked like they was steaming, like they was about to do something, and then they just kind of it all petered out, and nobody gives a shit about anybody anymore. With the death of Reverend Coleman, there is nobody to fill his vacuum that he's left. And so that's unfortunate. You know, I also got robbed by fucking, you know, criminals, black guys. You know, they stole my shit, you know, so it's like, what the fuck, man? You know, you couldn't get a better ally than me, and some of the fucking black guys wanted to fucking rob me, and it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Anybody fucking robbed me, you know? White women fucking robbed me. It was fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Who the fuck would like, you know, oh, good. Good. I'm glad that white person robbed you because I'm a racist piece of shit. No, I'm a racist. I like when white people hurt other fucking people just for the fuck of it. It's fucking hilarious to me. That's a racist. If you believe in that, flip it around. You're a fucking racist. No fucking way to get past it. You're a fucking racist. So, this isn't, this is about the riots. There's been 3 riots in Louisville. Bloody Monday, the 1855 riots, the 1968 riots, and then the 1975 anti-busing riot. So there was the Black Power riot, anti-busing riot, and then the Bloody Monday riot. Bloody Monday, we'll just start in the beginning, okay? So the first one is basically, they're all race wars. The first riot was the nativists, the fucking English Protestant assholes who were here, you know, in America for 100 years before the Irish and the Catholics. They don't mention the Catholics on this, but they do mention that they elected a German mayor 10 years later. But they said they attacked Irish Catholic neighborhoods. They attacked German and Irish Catholic neighborhoods. They were attacking Butchertown too. They says 22 people dead, but that bishop said that 100 people were left dead. You know, so this was white versus white. This is old whites versus new whites. The old whites had been here for 100 years or so, and they didn't like the Irish with their drinking and their their Catholicism ways, right? They were more rambunctious. They weren't as fucking, you know, strict Puritan and shit. They're like, those damn Krauts are stealing our jobs. And they took our jobs. And they were saying that shit about the Irish, and they're saying that shit about the Germans. So the Germans and the Irish, when they got to America, were treated just like Mexicans or black folks or anybody else that got discriminated against. So this was right before 1855, right before the Civil War. My ancestors got here in 1869. This is what they walked into. This is the bullshit they walked into. White people were so fucking racist. It wasn't brown and black skin, but it was a particular way of life, a particular tongue, a particular religion, a particular culture. And Irish and German Catholics did not fit that culture. They said that they were drinking, so alcoholics. Fuck all the people who drink alcohol, right? Alcohol's fucking everywhere now. The Christmas, they hated Christmas. The Protestant, English Protestants who were originally here, with the Mayflower, they hated Christmas. They would fine you 5 shillings if you tried to celebrate Christmas. So they hated Christmas. They hated any type of fun. They would have continental Sundays. So on Sunday, the Germans and the Irish would go about socializing and hanging out with one another. Well, that flies in the face of these ultra right-wing Protestant assholes. These are the same Protestants that, massacred and genocide an entire fucking nation of Native Americans, and also enslaved an entire, nation of African people to be slaves. So these fucking English Protestants, they're so fucking, prudish and so stuck up and so fundamental in their fucking ways. Listening to King James Bible, right? King James had it all figured out, right? God talked to King James and he was like, hey, this is how the Bible should be written there, King James. No, Guy Fawkes was right to try to fuck up, King James's shit. But the Bloody Monday was white on white riots. It was white on white riots. So today, Irish and Germans would be comfortably in the white community, right? But in 1855, they were not. They were not Americans. They would need to get the fuck out, and it was bullshit. The Know Nothings was a political party that was gaining steam. The slavery issue killed them because they couldn't make a decision up. They couldn't make their minds up about the Know Nothings. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party basically, was the only party that had been in play until the Republican Party comes up in the next 6 years, 1861. Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican. Also, he was the third party candidate that became, president. So the Know Nothing Party is a huge wave all across the United States. Everybody's joining the Know Nothing Party. And the Know Nothing Party they were racist, they hated the Catholics, and they were, racist against the Irish and the Germans. And so when anybody says, what do you believe in? They would say, we know nothing. And that's how they got their name, the Know Nothing Party. What do you know? We know nothing. So there's a lot of secret society elements to it. Lots of governors got on board. Lots of senators and congressmen become Know Nothings. The Pug Uglies was a strong arm of the Know Nothing Party. So they went around kicking people's ass. And they actually killed Edgar Allan Poe during one of these election days. They would just get somebody, liquored up, buy somebody a beer, and throw them into the fucking voting booth. Because it just gets people into the voting booth. You voted once, vote again. Keep on voting. Who gives a shit, right? So they cornered Edgar Allan Poe and tried to get him to vote, and then eventually he's fucking dead. So that's the Know Nothing riots. It happened in Louisville, Kentucky, August 6, 1855. Happened on Monday. They call it the Bloody Monday riots. And it was right before the election day, and that's pretty much, that's it. The election day, there was going to be, they didn't want the Irish and the Germans to vote for their people, so they terrorized the fuck out of them and got them, out of Dodge. That's consistent with the Mississippi Plan. The Mississippi Plan says if you utilize violence and terrorism and lynching and death and destruction before an election day, it is effective. It will keep people away from voting, and then you will win that election because people didn't fucking vote. They were too scared for their lives. So election day should be very much protected by all people. Everybody's got a right to vote. You're American. You got a right to vote. We don't need this type of fucking crazy ass bullshit. But this just shows you to the heart of white people, where white people, where they are on the whole scale, right? Where do they stand on shit? They hate themselves. They hate, they're so fucking racist. They hate other motherfuckers too. And what were the original whites? We learned who the original whites were. They were English-speaking Protestants. Okay, those were the original whites, right? They came over from Britain. They were part of the church, the Anglican Church, or they're separatists, or they're Puritans. They weren't Catholic. They were just a bunch of Protestant, sort of offshoot of Catholicism. We don't believe in the Catholic religion, but we're going to make a fucking religion just like the Catholics, call it Christian, and then start our own fucking thing. And that's what the Protestants did. And so actually it's weird to hear that Protestants can be more fucking strict than the Catholics can be. But in this time it wasn't the case, alcoholics, right, Irish, and they weren't alcoholics, but in a Catholic church, they give wine to the children for communion. So therefore, alcohol is an acceptable sacrament. It's an acceptable thing for their children to have, so let alone the adults. And they might actually be the way that they get people into the religion, right, by handing out fucking alcohol. Here, 5-year-old, you want some alcohol? Sure, I'll take some alcohol. And I sipped it up, right? I grew up Catholic, so that would be something I kind of understand. And this pisses me off. So my German ancestors came in here, saw these Protestant fucking English speaking assholes. They're trying to learn the language. They speak a different language. German's a good fucking language. Germans have basically taken over the Midwest. A third of the white people today have German ancestry, German heritage, and there's there's a lot of good things that come out of Germany. Yeah, Hitler come out of Germany and a lot of the Prussian fucking bullshit, but that's why the people were leaving. They were leaving that type of militarism and that type of bullshit. They were leaving it. They come to a new place. They fought in the Union. They fought against slavery. They fought for the Union. That's how they were able to get political positions. And because of the fucking white supremacists hating all things of color, now they're hating themselves, right? Now they're even hating, wait a second, you're white and you came from Germany? Well, that's like a whole nother country away from England. But England is made up of Anglo-Saxons, and the Anglo-Saxons originally came out of Germany. Hogwash. I don't want to hear none of that fucking historic talk. I'm a Kirk Cameron kind of guy. The pagans, we didn't steal Christmas, wasn't stolen from the pagans. The pagans stole Christmas from us. So that's Bloody Monday. Then we're going to fast forward to the riots of 1968. This was a Black Power riot. So it was an anti-police protest that eventually the police come in, try to strong arm everybody. They start throwing light bulbs off the rooftops, and they sound like gunshots, and then people just start setting fire to all the businesses and shit. And it burned down the black business district in West Louisville. It almost sounds like it could have been fucking staged. They could have done that shit intentionally. Or they stirred shit up enough to where people were like, fuck it, let's just burn this shit down. And so that's what they did. They had a protest. The cops came in there. They fucked shit up. And then eventually it just, it turned into a fucking mess. They said it's for 3 days. Let's see. Within an hour, Mayor Kenneth A. Schmid requested 700 Kentucky National Guard troops established a citywide curfew. Violence and vandalism continued to rage the next day, but subdued somewhat by May 29th. Business owners began to return, although troops remained until June 4th. Police made 472 arrests related to the riots. 2 black teenage rioters had died. So we do have 2 martyrs, 2 nameless martyrs that comes out of the 1968 Black Power riot of Louisville, and then $200,000 in damage. So that doesn't even seem $200,000. They didn't burn down the whole fucking business district, but that's the way they make it sound like. So that's the Louisville riots of 1968. Now we're going to go to, here's the 4th anniversary. After this, in 7 years, we're going to see the white people riot. And why did the white people riot? Because black kids were going to go to the white schools. They ordered busing, came down the line. Louisville been fucking taking its time, dragging its feet in order to get integrated. And 54 was when the Brown versus Board of Education said, let's get some integration. But Louisville wouldn't do the shit until 1975. In fact, right after the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education, Louisville was being talked about very highly because they integrated nearly immediately. But really, they just put a couple black kids in some of the white schools and called that integration. True blue integration, mixing all the kids together, didn't happen until 1975, which was incidentally 1 year before the 1976 resolutions of Frankfurt to pass the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments of the Constitution, the Civil War Amendments, which said that slavery was illegal. It took over 100-something years just to make slavery illegal, by decree in Kentucky. So, 40th anniversary of race riots in West Louisville. So this is just a markup of what had happened. But in 6 years, in 1975, they're going to be rioting against, against the black kids who are going to go to the school. You have people out in the park, shutting down interstates, just making up a big old fucking ruckus, just, being confrontational with the police, fucking trying to stop buses from moving, throwing rocks at the buses, just being total fucking assholes. The Klan was out there marching. Now, the Klan has marched before, and there's been smaller sort of skirmishes. You had probably about 200 black kids or so that was running around, jumping people and robbing stores and shit. That happened maybe a year ago or earlier this year. And then in 99, you had a big protest with the police and the Klan came out. And then there was also there was some fist fights that had broken out at one of the concerts. Russ Parr was having a concert, and there were some fist fights that had broken out. But these are sort of minor excursions. I wouldn't call them full-blown riots. They took that convenience store and took whatever shit out of that convenience store and they jumped a couple people, but that's not really a full-on riot. That's just kind of a mob, just kind of hurting one or two folks and then dispersing, right? So, the 40th anniversary of race riots in West Louisville. This is WDRB, which is the Republican channel of Louisville. This week marks the 40-year anniversary of race riots that destroyed part of West Louisville. The riots started on 28th Street in the Parkland area. It was a thriving area for Louisville's African-American community, but all that changed in May 1968. Annie Taylor was a local business owner and had just moved to the area in 1968. Shortly before riots broke out in the Parkland area, I liked it down here. You didn't have to go nowhere to buy nothing. Right around in here, you could get everything you wanted right around here in Parkland. But the area started to decline after May of 1968. People shooting and stuff, breaking stuff. You don't know what's going on. The riots started. That's when you need some mature black folks to say, we're going to be the police in this area. We're going to be the Black Panthers. We're going to start taking care of security around in this area. And I think that people would love it. That people would absolutely love it if somebody says, we're going to be the police officers around this area. Or they might hate the guys and hate that they're trying to take power and just attack them or whatever because they're trying to be like the police, but they're not. They're trying to be their own police for their own community. And so they're trying to be just, right? They're trying to be fair and honest with shit. Metro Councilwoman Sherry Bryan Hamilton was a senior in high school. Nobody knew it was going to happen, and she was a part of the protest. It wasn't even planned. So Sherry Bryan Hamilton was actually there for the 1968 Black Power riots, and it started a month after Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. So it's part of the Wikipedia articles of the Martin Luther King assassination riots, which I'm sure that was in the air. What the fuck? They just took away Dr. Martin Luther King. He cured fucking integration, and they fucking shot him, and they shot him down in Memphis because he was fighting for the garbage workers. He was trying to get the garbage workers to unionize. And that's why he got shot. So it shows you that even unionization of garbage workers is somehow a threat to the status quo. Unions of garbage workers. Charles Eliot was a 33-year-old preacher in 68 and held a tent revival hoping to calm the protesters down. They didn't want to hear nothing about Jesus. They wanted to hear something about tearing up. And before long, that's exactly what happened. Eliot says they wanted to destroy the city, really. And when the rioting was over, 2 teenagers were dead, nearly 500 people arrested, and several businesses destroyed. Louisville's made significant changes over the last 40 years in race relations, include several African-American council members and even a black police chief. Dr. Blaine Hudson is the dean of the College of Arts. He's actually died. When he talked about the 1975 white supremacist riots, he said that it happened for a year, and it was a mini civil war that was happening. We're seeing a civil war today. Just look at all the red states. That's the old Confederacy. The old Confederacy is voting fucking Republicans over and over again. The fucking Southern strategy of Nixon using racism as a means in order to win elections has been winning over and over and over again. LBJ, when he signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, said he just give the South to the Republicans for the next 30 to 40 years, and he was fucking right. And it's been longer than that. It's been about 50, 60 years. Why? White people are so fucking racist in the South. They're fucking racist as shit. Also weird how that's where the black belt is. So they're fucking racist as fuck, but their segregation, that's where most black people live, is in the South. You know? So I don't know if segregation has provided ample fucking security for them, or if they just, just family and tradition just didn't want to get up and go nowhere, but they're staying right in the fucking heart of it all. Fucking Confederate land. It should be a whole nother fucking nation down here, because it's totally assumed, and it's totally, hey boy, you better not be talking good about them black folks, boy. We don't take no kindly to no anti-racist around here, boy. No, you don't. You don't give a fuck about an anti-racist? That's fine. I get it everywhere I go. But I think it's because I'm right and you guys are assholes. So, the problems of the 1968 riots, he says, basically are still here with us. Bus and school segregation, desegregation in Louisville. So, you need to fucking get on board, and you need to get the integrating. All right, we'll get the integrating. They eventually did in 1975. Louisville went ahead and did it, but Senator Powers wrote the Helen Bland, speaking at a rally in support of integration, summed up the issue of busing as far as her experience was concerned. This was too good not to be stated in Bland's own words. Lord, what is it with this bus? When I was growing up in rural Alabama, we weren't allowed to ride the bus. Rain or shine, we had to walk 5 miles to school, and when the bus carrying the white children passed, we had to scramble up weed field banks to keep them from having mud splashed all over us. There's actually a book about this. About the black family, the poor black family. You had TJ, crazy old TJ, and the other people, Mama, oh Mama. What was that? Look, here, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. That was a good book. I enjoyed it. The teacher cried too at the end. So Senator Powers wrote that Helen Bland is writing this. What is up with these buses? And that happened in Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. They had to run whenever the white kids would, drive past the black kids. They'd be laughing at them and shit, and they'd get their fucking clothes all dirty, and it was bullshit. Then I moved to Montgomery, and blacks were boycotting the buses, so I still couldn't ride the bus. Finally, I moved to Louisville, where I raised my children. They again walked to school in the neighborhood, even though it was more than a mile long walk, even in bad weather. Then along comes the court order, and they said my children had to ride the bus, and they did, and they liked the bus and got along well at the school they went to. Now somebody's trying to turn back the clock and put them off the bus again. I said, Lord, what is it with this bus? When is it going to stop plaguing my life? This is Governor Julian Carroll, who actually believes in a strong governor. So Julian Carroll should have actually done the fucking right thing in the 1975 bus riots and said that the busing could go forward, but he actually tried to block it because he said he wanted to get federal funds, which Gloria Powers thought was bullshit. So the courts ordered the children to be bused from their own schools to achieve racial balance. In Louisville, Kentucky, that meant busing black children from Central City schools to other schools in surrounding Jefferson County. So that's how they were going to integrate. Take the black kids and spread them all over the white schools. And the white people were pissed. They were so shitty. They liked their fucking little suburbs, and they made this fucking ghetto, and they created the situation. They had segregation, racial dictatorships, and fucking totalitarian fucking oppression, for 100-something years, the nadir era of race relations. And after Reconstruction failed, basically black people didn't get any rights until, Martin Luther King in the 60s and shit. And that was only, a couple fucking decades. Here's a few decades to get yourself some freedom, get a job, and see if you can move yourself on up. If not, well, guess you're going to be fucked. So we are against forced busing. This is some racist talking. I don't even want to fucking quote her ass. Just a bunch of fucking racist fucking bastards. She has a sign here saying, please don't take my child to the slums. The slums, you're not taking your child to the slums. If anything, the children in the slums are now going to be schooled with your kid. That would be something fucking different now, wouldn't it? Yeah, but white people want to try to fucking, raise all kinds of hell when it comes to racism, right? The same whites in fucking Louisville in 1855 did the same shit to the Germans and to the Irish. There's the Black Power riot, which totally makes sense since, MLK had fucking got shot and the police were total fucking bastards. But that's it. That's it. That is all of the riots that have happened in Louisville. I even tried to look up busing riots. They said it was like a mini civil war. I can't get the dates down to when the riots had happened. So I would assume it probably would have been in the fall of 1975. So I was able to only get a couple pictures here, and there are pictures all throughout. I think this video here is Louisville. So stop busing, right? Stop busing. Busing is horrible. Nixon was against busing, but that wasn't because he has a fundamental moral obligation against busing. He was against black kids being bused, and so that's why that's a Southern strategy, to take these issues, which are race-baited, being against welfare, having high penalties for crack, just stupid shit like that. Even though all the people, break those fucking laws, they're designed to criminalize black life. That's what the black codes were and the slave codes were right after Reconstruction. So they criminalized black life, and that's what they're doing right now, is criminalizing black life. And so, the war on drugs, the class war, right? I mean, it's basically been class war from the word jump. When have the people had the power? 60s failed. There's the high water mark. Hunter S. Thompson talks about the high water mark. The 60s fucking failed. The conservatives have won, and now they're going fucking way conservative than any of the people in the fucking hippie movement or in the 60s could have dreamed about. They stopped Nixon's career, LBJ's career, because of a war. They stopped his fucking tenure as a president because of a war. Now we got 15 fucking wars. We're an empire all across the nation. We're starting wars whenever the fuck we feel like it, based upon mythical fucking weapons of mass destruction. People are being lied into war. It's all for oil and power, and that's all that anybody gives a shit about. And who gives a fuck, right? So the right has totally dominated and totally succeeded, and now they're going farther right than where they had started. They're not just Barry Goldwater right now; they're fucking Tea Party right. And Tea Party right, they're fucking some insane fucking radicals. You want to talk about radical Republicans? Radical Republicans is a good thing from history. They were good radical Republicans. These radical Republicans that we have now are going to undo what the original radical Republicans set out to do. Abraham Lincoln was a radical Republican. Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican, but Abraham Lincoln would fucking puke on the fucking Tea Party today. He would absolutely just shit on them all. And actually, the Tea Party today would be the Confederacy. They would have voted against Lincoln. And I wouldn't doubt if they voted against him in the fucking beginning, too. Here's a historical timeline where basically you have white guy, shoots black man Robert Whitlow. You get Adrian Reynolds was shot, right, or it was stomped. His head was stomped on by jailer Timothy Hawk Barnes. That's in '98. Fidencio Campos Cruz is murdered by multiple Louisville police officers. Cold-blooded murder of 18-year-old black man Desmond Rudolph by white male LMPD officers Chris Horn and Paul Kincaid for no fucking reason. Eventually, Desmond Rudolph's family got $200,000. Louisville Police Department announces that officers will be required to fill out a use of force report every time they charge someone with resisting arrest. They don't do that. Civilian Police Board, they try to get this shit passed. They try to get the Civilian Police Review Board passed, but the mayor vetoed it. The Board of Aldermen agreed to appeal the decision against the civilian review to the Kentucky Court of Appeals. Louisville, Kentucky, 4 black LMPD officers, Derek Leachman, Fred Helm, Willie Williams, and Maurice Hendricks, murdered Robert Abernathy in Chickasaw Park at 3 a.m. in the morning. Clifford Lewis was gunned down and shot, a young black man, 17 or so, 18 years old. Had no weapons, had no guns, no drugs on him or anything. Johann Kit Stimley. Other officers were named and were involved in it, but none of them actually got charged. The grand jury went ahead and threw their fucking case out. Didn't even give a fuck, right? The grand jury isn't there to help the public. It's there to fuck over the public and to help the police. Antoine D. Bryant was killed by an unidentified LMPD officer, right? They don't identify the fucking murderers. There's a murder, there's a dead body, and we don't even get the fucking name. The public of Louisville don't even get the name of the fucking murderers. And they all keep it behind closed doors. And they don't give a shit. They don't care about anybody. Cincinnati, Ohio. Timothy Thomas. This is 2001. I was in Cincinnati when the fucking riots up there happened. After the riots happened, they got a black mayor. They got a citizens complaint review board. Change happened. Even in Ferguson, you have Darren Wilson who resigned. He fucking quit. That's change. Change happens afterwards. No, I don't agree with the riot, but I do agree with MLK's designation that a riot is the language of the unheard. After motherfuckers have not been heard for so long, fuck it. Let's just break into this damn store and get ourselves a pair of shoes. And we'll say it's for the fucking revolution. It's for the fucking bullshit racism. Why not get a pair of fucking shoes out of the deal? So I'm not excusing it, but I am saying that until there is justice, you have to fucking change shit. Until you get justice, you got to just shooting motherfuckers down. Clifford Lewis Jr., who is Steve Conrad's fucking butt buddy. He's the one that started the Viper Squad. Steve Lewis, Clifford Lewis started the Viper Squad, but he was the one who murdered Clifford Lewis Jr. He murdered him. They just all jumped out. Nobody identified with themselves, and eventually Johann Stimley was the only one charged with the crime. So Johann Stimley was the guy who actually formed the fucking Viper Squad because he killed Clifford Lewis Jr. So, that's what we're up against. Marshall Marbley is killed by the LMPD. James Edward Taylor, who was fucking handcuffed behind his back. Marshall Marbley, he was shot 16 times. 16 fucking times. And then Robert White, he was elected in 2003. And then right after that, you had Michael Newby. Michael Newby was shot. But then the black police chief officer was like, hey, everything will be cool. So they did get a black police chief, but we didn't get a black mayor. Cincinnati got them both. So I think it's time for a black mayor. It's time for a black mayor. Fuck Greg Fisher, that motherfucking corporatist fucking piece of shit. He hasn't done shit for Louisville. He hasn't helped anybody or anything else. Except for the rich and the bankers and the fucking ultra wealthy. That's all he gives a fuck about. He was against Occupy, he's against the 99%. Fuck that piece of shit. The crack dealing, plainclothes, white supremacist psychopath Mackenzie Mattingly shot Michael Newby 3 times in the fucking back. And then he got $60,000 to stay off the police force. And then Michael Newby's mother gets $250,000. So the cop who murdered somebody got fucking paid, right? That's how Chief Robert White got rid of him. Here's $60,000. Just fucking step down and do something else. LMPD officer Peter Grigon is shot. So that's okay. Sometimes the cops get shot. It says it was Robert Wright's worst day. Mitch McConnell's worst day was the passing of McCain-Feingold when the political donations were capped and couldn't be in unlimited funds anymore. So that's the difference between Robert White and Mitch McConnell. Robert White, mourns over somebody who got shot and killed, and Mitch McConnell mourns over the opportunity of corporations having complete freedom to donate to his campaign as much money as they want. Louis Coleman dies in 2008, and then there's a power vacuum. The Meredith decision, which was based upon Jefferson County Board of Education, which is Louisville, was affirmed by the Supreme Court, and then they overturned the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education. Pat Todd of Spalding University was instrumental in implementing this illegal racist busing plan in Louisville. Supreme Court said, Pat Todd, you're an asshole, fuck you. And she is an asshole. Even if she was doing the right things, she was an asshole. So I think maybe that's what it was, her being an asshole about the fucking thing. Louis Coleman dies, power vacuum, Obama's elected, and then racism is over, right? And then in 2011, this shit just happened, and there was no protest, nothing at all. So motherfuckers didn't give a shit. They, Henry Watterson Expressway, right, which is Henry Watterson of the KKK, also founded the Courier-Journal. Leon Brackens was murdered by 4 unidentified Louisville police officers on the Henry Watterson Expressway, where the Breckenridge were fucking pro-slavery, intersects it. And 26 Louisville police officers were named in the civil lawsuit. 26 of them. There was 4 or 5 of them that beat up this little tiny sickly 45-year-old sickle cell anemic Leon Brackens. 4 of them murdered him. And he was doing nothing at all. He was in the car with somebody that was trying to run the cops, but he called 911. They only knew about her trying to get away because he had called them. And he told them what was happening, saying, get me out of this, please, please don't hurt me. And then once the cops came up, they just took, he was 45 years old, skinny and little. They killed him. Eventually he succumbs to his wounds, a couple months later. And nobody said shit about it. They reported it in the news. They got some fucking news feed, but nobody made a big deal about it. Nobody marched. Nobody fucking highlighted this shit and said this shit is bullshit. So, with the death of Coleman, basically there hasn't been anybody that speaks out about the fucking bullshit that goes on. With my own personal experiences, I don't know if the cops are just afraid of black people, so they didn't go after the real criminals and shit. They'd rather fuck with, passers-by just walking to the goddamn store and get people for seatbelts and shit like that. Get to the people that's, compliant to them because they're easier to be fucked with. But the real fucking criminals, these goddamn cops don't do a fucking thing about. So these pansy-ass fucking cops don't do shit about the real fucking criminals, and they fuck over the good fucking guys and kill the fucking good guys, the innocent people, the Leon Brackens, the Michael Newbys, the Adrian Reynolds. They murder whoever the fuck they feel like, willy-nilly. After the Timothy Thomas shooting in 2001 in Cincinnati, I thought Louisville was going to do something. You had about 4 or 5 black, unarmed black men that got shot that didn't do shit, that didn't deserve to die. And they got paid just what? $200,000, $250,000. That's the value of a black man's life in Louisville. You fight it, you deny it, you get the fucking grand jury to bury it. You make sure that they don't get prosecuted and they get awarded medals of fucking valor and shit. You don't do nothing and you get nothing accomplished. And then you just cry and you say, fuck it, maybe we'll solve racism if we attack a bunch of poor white homeless men. Yeah, that'll solve fucking racism. Why don't y'all motherfuckers stand up against your own fucking police, fucking your brutality fucking police. Your goddamn corrupt fucking police. You want to stop taxes and save some tax money? What about all those criminal fucking judges? Y'all just elected a shit ton of criminal fucking judges, and you got a lot of criminal fucking cops going around doing whatever the fuck they want to do, and the judges back their asses up no matter what. And it's fucking bullshit. It's time for change. It's not right. They should have video cameras on them. They should, everywhere they go, that video camera should be turned on. No fucking malfunction bullshit. You're fucking tampering with evidence, and that's a crime too. Assault and battery is crime. They should be charged with the crimes that they commit. You can't go around destroying property and hurting people when you don't know if they got any fucking thing on them. You gotta have probable cause. You gotta have a fucking reason. And once it's determined that there is no fucking reason and you was lying and that it was bullshit, You need to fix what the fuck you broke. You know, you're gonna break fucking windows and trash people and hurt people and throw them in a hospital and then not even pay for that fucking bullshit. You're the damn criminals. You're a bunch of psychopathic, sadistic fucking criminals. You're not helping anybody. You're bad fucking individuals. And then for those fucking racists that want to sit there and be like, Mr. Privilege, listen to you, Mr. Privilege. I'll stand up against fucking white supremacy. I'll stand up against police brutality. And if you want to stand up against me, then fuck you. You're the enemy of the fucking people. You're the enemy of the fucking people. I'm standing on the right side of history. I'm standing up for what's good and right. And you want to be against me because you're a racist piece of shit? Fuck your racism too. So, Louisville, where the fuck have you been? 3 riots? That's all y'all got is 3 riots? 68, 75, and 1855. 1855, and that was fucking white racist. 2 of the fucking riots in Louisville was white racist riots. White supremacists being their fucking violent white supremacist, bestial, fucking animalistic, rapist, fucking oppressor, molester selves. And that's fucking bullshit, right? And the one was just Black Power riot. MLK died. Shit, I would have fucking rioted too. MLK, the greatest fucking human being that's ever been created in all the world. Yeah, his fucking life is absolutely fucking Hollywood, and he didn't even do a goddamn thing. You know, he didn't even need Hollywood special effects for his fucking life. What an amazing fucking life. You can't get no better than that motherfucker's life. He even kind of predicted, I may not get there with y'all, but I want y'all to know that we will get to the promised land. For thine eyes have seen the coming of the glory of the Lord. Ah, yes, MLK. People want to say Malcolm X is better than MLK. I don't know. Malcolm X was kind of just bitching about everybody. MLK was out in the streets confronting them. Yeah, it was nonviolent, but it was nonviolent in people's faces. And he was doing it social change. We have a right to protest. We have a right to fight for changes in our circumstances. And if we do it nonviolent, then fuck you. We're not hurting nobody. We're fucking nonviolent. You start hurting us, fuck you. You're the damn criminal. You can't go around hurting people. This is America. Peaceful assemblies are allowed. That's the first fucking amendment. So yeah, that's the 3 riots. 1855 Know Nothing riot, the Bloody Monday riot. You have the Black Power riot of 1968, and then you got the white supremacist anti-busing riots of 1975. And that's it. And so for the last 30, 40 fucking years, you ain't seen shit in Louisville. So for the people that want to say, Louisville, all the black people are so bad. No, it's not fucking bad. Black people have got, the police have got black people and poor whites under control. They're dominated over, they're enduring a military occupation, and I haven't seen any movements for change whatsoever. I was speaking up about it. I would have done some, significant stuff, but, Louisville didn't fucking love me, and so I had to go a different fucking, a different way now. But that's the 3 fucking riots that happened in Louisville, Kentucky. 1855, 1975, and 1968.